Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the breakdown of PMSL Southeast Asia Grand Final Day 1. We're gonna jump right into it with match 1. We have Sandhawk, and you can see there's a northwestern circle, but we're gonna focus on the southeastern two teams. We got E Arena, who has dropped around the cave area, and Tourniquet towards the docks area, and Roy in the Kampong area. So there's gonna be some targeting going on. Well, targeting, by targeting I mean there's gonna be some planned attacks going on, which you're gonna focus on. If we go over here, okay, Roy versus EA, we're gonna check Roy versus EA out.
Maybe
If
even like
my
Xavier
screen
or the Puck
loads.
themselves around
Yeah, okay, now let's see. Roy has decided to target the two players of E Arena. As you can see, there's two guys on this portion of the map and two guys on this portion of the map. They are on the high ground, they're keeping watch so that the other players of E Arena can't come and provide backup to them. So these two players are gonna push towards E Arena right there, and we're gonna see the entire fight from there.
in
Yeah.
Sanhok. I guess
After that,
so. You don't want
we're
to
gonna
really
see
take that
now that players from Roy, they are gonna push onto E
risk, but
Arena. But the key part is these two players. These two players that are here on the high ground. These two players are keeping watch for Roy. So the initial execution of the plan from Roy was very good, but it breaks down after that. We're gonna see that now. Okay.
maybe strategies
Now
change this
Roy,
time. But what we're sure right
yeah, they're
now,
gonna push. They're
Yeah,
gonna get an
later on,
initial
but Roy
knock
and
onto
Yuri
E Arena. My
first
net
stage
is
as
not doing
well.
very well.
Now, with
Okay.
this very small circle, I expect this kind of teams that will
Yeah,
resort
so there you go. Juke gets an initial knock on Tourniquet here.
to those boat rotation
But
cloud. They know
after
for
that, what happens is
bit of a
Roy.
cold
There you
start.
go. After that, what happens is Roy, the two remaining players of Roy, they push down. They push down from this hill, trying to collapse onto E Arena, and this was a mistake. One of these guys, at least one of these guys, should have stayed over here. So if you want to overpower the two guys from E Arena that are standing over here, yes, you can do that, but you need to keep one player here because you know the remaining players of E Arena are gonna come back and provide E Arena, the remaining players of E Arena, with the cover fire. So this angle from Roy should never have been left open, and two players from E Arena are now gonna come over here. Sakura is gonna do an amazing job of holding off the players from Roy, and yeah, they're gonna take it from there. So leaving this position for Roy was a very big mistake in this fight, and after that they're gonna,
Not here for 10k.
yeah, after that they're gonna, okay, yeah, Sakura did a brilliant job of holding them off, and I think at the end of this fight, E Arena absolutely collapse on Roy, and they don't even lose a player. Yeah, we're just gonna fast forward through it here for a bit because we don't really have the time to watch this entire fight. We have a lot of things to get through today. But again, that high ground position was so important. There we go. Two players from Roy are already finished. Tourniquet gets knocked here, but yeah, there we go. Sakura and Joker, they're gonna finish up Roy. So this was a very interesting fight because Roy had initially a great idea of taking the high ground and having angles onto docks, but then they abandoned it, and that's what happened to them for that entire duration of the fight. Yeah. So after that we're gonna, okay, so this was EA. This was a very good play from EA, but right now we're gonna see some not so great fighting from EA. Excuse me. Okay, so now here we can see EA is right over here and the circle moves up. So they don't have that many options as to how they're gonna rotate onto the circle. They don't have that many options. But what they do is hilarious. I found it hilarious and that's why I wanted to show you guys. There you go. You can see that EA has gone into their vehicles and they're gonna push up. They're gonna push up onto Cellcom Digi Alliance's position, and you'll see what happens after that. There we go. The push has started, and yeah, now there you see four guys in one car and absolutely mow down in seconds. And this was very funny to me. That's why I wanted to show you guys. And yeah, after such a great play from EA Arena, backing up their players, the zone forces them and they have just no answer to that. So yeah, this was a very funny moment for me, and that's why I wanted to show you guys. Okay, after that, what we are gonna look at is the first map end game. Here you can see Rosemary has that higher angle, and this, for all intents and purposes, this should be an alter ego win, right? They have the, okay, I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, this should be an alter ego win, right? Because they have this portion of the map and this portion of the map, right? Or where is it? Yeah, this portion of the map. They have the higher ground. Claw, they they're playing from this angle, right? They're playing from this angle, so this should be an easy win for alter ego. But the absolute madmen from Claw, they do something which is incredible. I will show you guys right now. They're gonna take the car. Yeah, so Redface, Zaxi and Pepenk, they are surviving. Look at the angles from alter ego. Look at the angles from alter ego. They have this on absolute lockdown. There's just no hope for Claw, right? So now let's see what Claw does. Pepenk trying to do something, but Zaxi and Pepenk, the absolute madlets, send it with a vehicle. Rosemary doesn't connect the shots. Zaxi gets a vehicle knock onto alter ego's players, and then Krypton gets knocked. Redface is pushing from the lower angles, and Rosemary, I think that was Rosemary, right? Rosemary on the top ground, he can do absolutely nothing. Yeah, Rosemary on the top ground can do absolutely nothing. Zaxi right now is out of vision for Rosemary. Alva should have done something here. I don't know what he was doing. But Claw, this is an absolute mad play with the car rotating in from the lower grounds. And yeah, this was absolutely incredible to see. Okay, now see, gets the res onto Pepenk. Alva is on the lower grounds. He is still looking towards Redface. Rosemary jumps, gets knocked, and it's just, which should have been an easy chicken dinner for alter ego, results in an absolute incredible chicken dinner for Claw. And look at Zaxi. Look at the excitement from that man. This is why he is still one of the best in the world. He's still one of the best in his region. And after all these years, still the passion that Zaxi has, it comes through. And yeah, this was a pretty fun game to watch, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, after that, we're gonna move towards, what is it? The second match. So the second match, yeah. So this was the circle on the second match. Let's take a look at my notes. Okay, yeah. So we can see the Vikings, right? The Vikings drop here in Milta. So they have to push through You can take a look at the plane path. So the teams that are gonna be in the region are gonna be in this portion where most of the teams are gonna drop. So everyone is gonna rotate from the eastern side to the western side. The rotations are gonna be from this side and some from the northern side as well. So Vikings know that they have to push through this eastern side of the circle, that they have to push in through the eastern side of the circle into the center to get into this circle. So they could try to do that, but they will have to, they could have the possibility of getting stuck in multiple rotations and clash with other teams. So what they do is pretty genius. I'm gonna show you guys. They do a hovercraft rotation. They drop Milta, so they have access to hovercrafts, and they do a hovercraft rotation through the water. Through the water, they do a hovercraft rotation. This was very funny and quite genius, I have to say. This was a very good move from Vikings. So this was very fun for me to watch. That's why I wanted to point it out. After that, let's take a, oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys this fight, Claw versus Roy. This was a very fun fight. I'm gonna turn on the commentary as well for you guys, just so you guys can enjoy this fight. I have nothing much to add other than the fact that there were some disgusting nades from the side of Claw. So yeah, I'm just gonna have you guys see this fight.
Jetty fight between Roy and Claw. Claw slowly pushing in with Zukti taking the lead right up front, but he got knocked down with DBS by Juke. Roy, unfortunately, they will be surrounded left, right, and center, but Claw, red face. Here comes a nade to connect the shots, but unfortunately, Juke is still alive. Mango will try to go and retrieve his mate. Well, I'm not sure about Zuxi, whether they can actually revive two players at the same time. But Pank have to knock down on any of the...
So Claw has two players knocked, right? But Roy has to swim. The players from Roy have to swim and get onto this rock so that they can access Claw in nade distance or even fire any shots at them.
Players
So
of
this
Roy
was
first, or
the
finish off the last member of Roy.
So this was the caveat to this fight, I would say.
That's the smoke, but here comes a nade. Another 1 second to follow up, but Juke is slowly chipping down his HP, but they will return the favor. Mango, at least he only have to care about retrieving Juke, but more on the side of Claw.
Only one way in and, well, no way out for Claw. Look at the circle. How difficult is this for him? Doesn't help
Look
the
at
fact
these
that Roy is still
nades.
there. Nade did connect on the
Pepeng
Juke,
was an absolute
but there's still
MVP in this
Hui Kwan there.
fight.
Mango is on his way to become his teammate, but this
There
nade
you go.
could be
Another
big.
one
What
from
a
Pepeng.
nade by Pepe to knock down Mango and finish up 2K. This is their time to go.
Oh, Pepeng down to
Pepeng
1 HP
absolutely
left.
carried
Don't
in
forget, we
this
still
fight.
have more than plenty. Team Secret breathing behind
Boboho
the
is
necks of
down.
Roy as well. If Claw will try to recklessly
Solo
push
Pepeng
forward, they will immediately
has the time
gun down
to
by not
get
just
himself
Roy,
back
but Team
up, but
Secret as
Ka
well.
is
Ka coming up from
only
behind.
now
He's having problem to climb up. He's trying to find
coming
a way
from
to go
behind
up
to
there.
support his
But on the
teammates.
side
But
of Roy,
look
here
at
comes
that,
the nade!
another
Pepeng!
incredible nade from Pepeng. He absolutely ruled this fight. This was such a fun fight to watch.
Bang! Twice in a row. That was epic.
What an insane nade here by Pepe. He needs to land one more big one on the car before they are able to at least move forward. Then they'll think about their next opponent from there. But here's Red Face. Drop back into the water. And then nade will reset again. Okay, here's Pepe. Pepe again. Pepe again. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Nade overlap. But here comes Red Face.
It comes with a DBS and jump shot. There he goes, but Pepeng now on the ground. Nobody to toss those nades twice now. Red Face hoping he will somehow
and then
connect.
Red Face
Thanks
cleans up.
to-
It was an incredible fight. I just wanted to show you guys. It was so fun. Pepeng hit some incredible nades. And yeah, that was very fun to watch. Now let's see match to end game. Let's take a look at the... Okay, we have seen the first match end game, right? Yeah, we have seen the first match end game. So let's take a look at the match 2 end game. Okay. Okay, BTR. Right now, BTR has so much of control of this circle. So BTR has gone towards the eastern side of the circle to clean up EA, and now they managed to clean up EA. Now look at what. Okay, just in a second. Just in a second. Look at what Talon does. Look at what Talon does. Now, what do you call this? BTR has one of their players in this compound, and I think three of their players came towards this side to clear out the rest of EA. Talon identifies this, and the circle hasn't popped right now, right? So they think that the compound over there, the only solo from BTR over there, they can take an easy fight onto him. Yeah, and the compound is such prime real estate in this zone, so they send it with vehicles over to this compound, but the zone pops. Okay, the zone will pop right about now. The zone pops, but now Talon has committed to this move. Talon has committed to this move towards this compound, but now the zone has popped away from the compound. The zone is not in the compound anymore. And BTR, look at all the players from BTR, Snape, Federals, and Satar I think was also there. Now BTR has options. BTR can abandon Razy over here, have Razy fight them off, and take control over to this side. And because Talon, all of the players from Talon are crashing onto this compound, so now BTR can take control of this side and then gatekeep Talon out of there. So which should have been a great rotation from Talon, now turns into the exact opposite. What they wanted to do is put BTR under pressure. Down now they're gonna be on pressure themselves. Okay, if we just play it for a bit. Now see Talon crashes onto there. Look at BTR Federals sees the circle pop and understands that Talon has made a mistake, and all three players of BTR abandons Razy. Razy has to hold off for themselves, and Talon with their three-man crash into this compound now find themselves outside of the circle. So this was very funny. This was an aggressive play from Talon that didn't quite work out, and BTR at the end cleans up this fight, which I am not gonna show you guys because we are short on time. But yeah, this was a very like proactive rotations coming back to bite Talon in, and yeah, this was pretty fun to watch, I would say. There you see now Talon has to smoke up and try to get into the circle. BTR has set up and they have such good angles, and yeah, at the end of the day I think BTR took this chicken dinner. I'm not gonna show you guys anymore, but yeah, BTR took this. Okay, let's take a look at match 3 now. Let's take a look at match 3. Okay, yeah, I have thoughts on match 3. I have some serious thoughts on match 3. Excuse me. Okay, circle pops, right? It's a military circle. Claw has dropped on the military circle. They have vehicles. Look at the split from Claw. Look at the split from Claw. This is an incredible split, right? This is an incredible split. They have so much control. Zaxi knows that there's no one on Novorepnoe. They have so much control. They have so much control over the military island. And when you have so much control over the military island, one thing you should do is you should not allow anyone into the military island. If you are dropping military base, the military bridge is of your control. Pepeng is already there, right? Pepeng is already there. So one of these guys, Redface or Boboho, should have gone over there and absolutely camped the military bridge. They shouldn't have let anyone in through the military bridge. I mean, if you are trying to be incredibly aggressive, you even have the option of 2 players camping the military bridge and 2 players camping the Novo bridge, which sounds ridiculous and is ridiculous, so we're not going to talk about that. But you absolutely should camp the military bridge. you shouldn't focus on loot. You should just grab what you can. You can even loot these compounds and these compounds and just camp the military bridge, deny entry to anyone, because so much of this circle is water and you are dropping military base. You have the entire control over the Sosnovka military base, so you should absolutely camp the military bridge and deny entry to everyone from there. But I don't think so. That's what Claw did. They let everyone in, as you can see. They let everyone in, and then the circle moves. They let everyone into the military circle. Sem 9 from Ferry Pier went into the military bridge. Even they didn't camp the military bridge. And then the circle went on to the eastern side. And as you can see, everyone was focused up on the military base. Everyone was focused up on the military bridge side of the circle. And there's a cluster forming right over there. And now it's empty. So now that Claw has allowed everyone to enter into the circle, what happens is that they get picked off one by one and they get overwhelmed by the team inside military base where they dropped, and they finish with 0 points from this match. So a brilliant first match from Claw, and this match, which should have been another big match for them because they had the entire control of the Sosnovka military base, they get nothing out of it. So this is why I was so pissed off at them. They should have taken control of the military bridge and denied entry to everyone over there, and it would have been a very big match for them, I feel like. And they got nothing out of that. After that, the circle centers up onto the Novo bridge and teams fight over there. I don't have many more thoughts on that. I don't have any notes on them at the very least. BTR did an early rotation, if we can see. BTR went on to school and then they made an early rotation. I think they swam it and made a good rotation over there. And yeah, they had a good position. Onto the western side of the circle. D Xavier, if we take a look at what D Xavier did, where did D Xavier drop? D Xavier dropped onto Pochinki, and yeah, because the military bridge was open and Claw and Sem 9 didn't camp the military bridge, that's where they had some value. Teams did get easy access onto the military bridge, and yeah, I think after that vampires cleaned up onto the eastern side of the map. And I think what happened at the last moment, I think D Xavier got the chicken dinner. Yeah, D Xavier got the chicken dinner. Lamborghini got the MVP. Roy got the northern side of the Novo bridge. Look at them. They are on the northern side. And because the circles shifted onto the Novo bridge from what clearly should have been a military bridge circle, Roy got easy access to the northern side of the Novo bridge. Talon, I think, sent it onto the main island, didn't wait at the northern side of the Novo bridge, leaving easy entry point for Roy to capitalize. And yeah, Talon, I think, then got eliminated really early onto the match. And now look at Roy, have easy access, entire control of the northern side of the bridge. They have the control of the entire bridge, which Talon should have done. They made a misplay, in my opinion. You should never have pushed onto this position so early into the game, because not so early into the game, you know that there's going to be teams there. So this was a misplay from Talon, in my opinion. And then the circle, I think they had to push onto it in the last circle. Vampires, I think, did a good job on this match. But D Xavier ultimately had the hilly area and they didn't have to push from the... I will show you. Vampires had to push below the bridge, right? Vampires had to push below the bridge, and D Xavier, the circle didn't push on to D Xavier D Xavier first, the end zone. So this is why I think D Xavier got the chicken dinner at the end. Roy got like in between two teams, so Roy was at a disadvantage, and Vampires had to push through from the bottom of the bridge. So that's why D Xavier got the chicken dinner in the third match. Okay, now let's take a okay. On the fourth match, few teams subbed out their players, which surprised me. I don't know how things work over there in Southeast Asia. I haven't been following them for the last few years. I've only returned to watch esports in 2025, so I really don't know how it works. But subbing out of so many players, it just so many teams subbing out players in the finals of a super league, it just, I don't know if it works for them. It shouldn't work for them. Your roster should be fixed. Four players should be fixed. I don't know if map specialists exist in Southeast Asia. Apparently they do. It's what I got from the commentators over there. But subbing out players, it just doesn't sit right with me. I think your four should be fixed, and you should pin your hopes onto them. You four players should be playing out all of the matches in the preparation, in the league stages, and then in the finals they should be locked in. And I think that creates less chaos on your team. And subbing out of so many players in Southeast Asia, it just surprised me. I'm not used to that. I think four players should be locked in and they should play. Their synergy should be at an all-time high, and that's how the game should be played. That's just my opinion, and this is something that surprised me, so I just wanted to talk about that for a bit. Okay. After that, 4.1, the fourth match. This was the circle, and after that, this is where it had a northeastern shift. So Team Secret in that match, look at the spread of Team Secret and look at the control that they have onto this circle. This should have been a very big game for them, and Team Secret was so very unlucky in this position because the game got rehosted, and it was so unfortunate for them. It was so unfortunate for them. So yeah, the game got rehosted. They had central control of the circle. I think Zaxi from Claw got caught out in the rotation very early in the game, so this was a blessing for Claw, but a very very disappointing end because the match had to be rehosted. So Team Secret were not happy in this position. After that, this was the new circle. Another military base circle. Okay. Another military base circle. We can see that it was a repeat from match 3. The rehost made it a repeat. Okay, let's take a look at 4.4 here. So this time there weren't any crazy shift, but one crazy thing that happened was FaZe dropped Milta Power, right? FaZe dropped Milta Power. Okay, I'm gonna close this window. FaZe dropped Milta Power, and for some reason they swam over to Novo. And fought the Vikings, and I think FaZe lost 2 players there, which was like very weird for me, very confusing for me. I just don't know why they did that, and to be very blunt, it was a very stupid decision. I really don't know why you do that in this circle. If you want to get access to the military zone, you don't even know the first circle. Look at the first circle. There's no guarantee that it's gonna be on the military island, and even if it's on the military island, if you cross over to Novo and then you have to push towards the eastern side, you're always gonna be fighting teams who are gonna take the Novo bridge, and you are gonna be behind them. So I really couldn't understand this move from FaZe, and I wanted to bring attention to it. After that, Oh yeah, vampires did a rotation. They dropped Primox, right? So they did a water rotation onto the Sosnovka military base, and after that, where is it? Match to end game. Okay, so this is from the CSA. Yeah. They went back. They went back because look at this circle, right? Look at this first circle. So everyone thinks the zone is gonna go to the military island, right? So everyone is trying to send it onto the military island. Look at all this team on the Novo Bridge as well. Everyone is trying to send it onto the military island. So vampires drop onto Primorx. So they have an easy access to the military island through a water rotation, right? But now that the zone has made an western shift and it's not gonna be on the military island anymore, the majority of the circle is on the mainland. So now vampires can't push through the military bridge because they know that there's gonna be a team onto this side of the military bridge, and if they try to push towards that angle, they're gonna have to fight through the team that's going to be on the military side of the military bridge, and then onto the main island of the military bridge there's going to be other teams as well. So it's going to be a very tough thing for Vampires Esports to do, to fight through this side. So what they do is they go back to Primorx from where they made the water rotation. They knew that they had left a vehicle there. As you can see, a Dacia is there, right? A Dacia is there, and they also have the hovercraft. So they have vehicles right now to commit to this. So this was a very good rotation from Vampires Esports, also because they knew that the cluster was gonna be here, the cluster was gonna be here, no cluster was gonna be on the western side of the new circle. So they were gonna have an easy access and easy entry point onto the western side of the circle, and they're gonna be able to take control of this western side of the circle barring SEM9. But they were gonna have an easy entry point onto there instead of fighting from this southern side of the new circle onto the military bridge from the military islands. So this was a very good rotation from Vampires Esports, and I liked it very, very much. Okay, so this was 4.4. After that, oh yeah, I wanna bring attention to the BTR position as well. So BTR drops school, right? If I'm not mistaken, BTR drops school. Yeah, BTR drops school. And in the previous match that we saw, in the third match before the rehost, third match wasn't rehosted. So BTR did a good rotation. They swam over to the military island and tried to set up onto the Novo bridge, right? They had a good position onto there. So they tried to do the same thing. They tried to do the same thing over there as well. They tried to set up onto the Novo bridge. But the circle this time moves away to the military bridge, and BTR is stuck there, right? BTR is stuck there. So the recency bias of your playing plays into this match for BTR. In the previous match, they had good position onto this portion of the military island towards the Novo bridge. So they went back over there, and this time they got caught with their pants down, right? Because the zone absolutely the zone previous side played a ping pong shift to the eastern side, and this time in this match it did a ping pong shift to the western side. So teams got caught off. The teams that committed to the military bridge caught off in the previous match, and the teams that committed to the Novo bridge got caught off in this match. So BTR, it was not a good day out for them. And then the zone shifts towards the side of SEM9, and SEM9 drops Ferry Pier. So this was a very big game for them. But I want to bring your attention to E Arena. E Arena, in the previous, if we see it, okay, this is 4.3, right? E Arena drop Hospital and Western Georgia City. But look at this. E Arena, in this chaos, E Arena has a clear entry into the zone, and they take position very early, and they set up over here. which is very good for them, and they will take control of this match from this position. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, Vampires did a good rotation, and now they have control of the eastern side of the map. Sem9 dropped Fairy Pier, and the circle went onto them, so they now have control of the center of the circle. Arena did good rotation, have the control of another central position of the circle. Claw has the control of the entire southern position, the military bridge, so they should be doing well as well. And as you can see, BTR, they're committed onto the Novo bridge, and now they're not even inside the circle, right? Okay. After that, 4.6. Oh yeah. So now, before, in the previous match that we saw, in team, the one that got rehosted, Team Secret's position was so good. They had a central position, so it would have been a very big game for them, right? But now in this match, Team Secret is already at the bottom of the table, and they get nothing from it. They get absolutely nothing from it. They drop Northern Giorgio, so they always pushing onto the southern side. It's gonna be a very difficult rotation for them. And Team Secret, see, they are stuck in the blue because they want to get into the circle late, because that's where a portion of the northern side is gonna be empty, because that's when teams are gonna try to go towards the bridges, and they're gonna fight and leave the northern side of the circle empty. So that's what Team Secret's plan was in this match, and they got caught off with Boom Esports. Over there you can see that they're gonna fight with Boom Esports, and it was very unlucky for them, in my opinion, because the match that got rehosted, Team Secret were looking at easily over a 10-point game over there, and the match got rehosted, and the circle didn't favor them, and they left empty-handed from this match, and which was very brutal for them, I must say. And yeah, I just wanted to bring attention to that. Okay, after that, yeah, BTR, if we take a look at 4.7 over there, BTR made a good rotation, right? BTR made a good rotation. Well, it was the only option for them. They had to take the Novo bridge back. They had to tank a bit of the blue and enter into the zone from this entry point. But now there's so many teams already set up. Arena, look, they have a good position. Vampires, they have a good position. Claw have a good position. Sem9 are central into the circle. So BTR now have to come in late into this zone and have basically no information. And the recency bias of setting up onto the Novo page really cost them into this match. And they got one elimination and get absolutely clapped by Celcom DG Alliance, who, if you take a look, they came late. They came even later than BTR onto this match, and they were in the eastern edge of the map, and then they pushed on to BTR back there. So BTR's back wasn't clear, which should have been the case because they came into the circle so late. But yeah, BTR got pincered down into this position and got absolutely nothing from that match. Okay, 4.8, 4.9. Sem9 dropped Fairy Pierce, so it should be a very big match for them, right? There we go. Arena played this really well. They played it really aggressive, and they took fights, won fights. Sem9 is set up into this match so early. Claw has a southern control. Vampires have western control. They should be doing a lot more into this match, right? And B Xavier, if you take a look, have the southeastern edge of the circle in the military base. Not military base, the military bridge. They have the southeastern edge of the circle, so they should also have a good game, right? But now we're gonna take a look at what happened to D Xavier. Claw, as you can see, have southern control, but now they push on to D Xavier. This is a very aggressive push, right? This is a very aggressive push, and Claw wants control of the entire the entire southern edge of the circle. So that's why they pushed onto D Xavier, and it was a clean execution from Claw, as you can see from here. Nades from Pepeng, was it? Yeah, Pepeng was just so unbelievable. Zaxi with the runover with the hovercraft, and yeah, Claw just absolutely smash clear out D Xavier, and now they have so much control. They have so much control. If I can show you guys, they have so much control of this zone. They have the entirety of the southern edge. They have the entirety of the southern edge under their control. And if they wanted to play these areas, if they wanted to play these areas, D Xavier from this side would have taken shots onto them. So this was a very aggressive push from Claw over towards D Xavier, and it brought out so much value. They got elimination points, which helps them in their run, and as well as that, now they have so much control over this side, and now even in the new circle which moves away from them, because they have cleared out D Xavier from this eastern side of the map, now they can move towards this area and play from there. Right, so this was such a brilliant push from Claw, so aggressive. I loved it. I absolutely loved this push from Claw towards D Xavier, and this really cemented their position in this match. But if we take a look at what the other teams are doing, Sem9 are big chilling. Obviously, they have been taking the center of this map because the zone shifted towards Ferry Pier. They drop in Ferry Pier, so they had a good time in this match. E-Arena are constantly fighting. They have to fight to clear out the western side of the map. But Vampires Esports were not proactive. I think they lost a player as well, and they didn't take control of the western side of the map, which they should have done. They had a good rotation on towards the western side of the map. So I was disappointed with Vampires Esports. I don't know what happened in the circumstances. Maybe too many teams are fighting and it just wasn't worth the risk. If they crashed onto this side, maybe Sem9 could have taken some shots onto them, and the teams that are already set up there, they could have taken shots at them, and Vampires could have been eliminated. But I expected more from Vampires onto this match. I thought that they would take the control of the western side of this map entirely, which didn't happen. But look at Alter Ego now. They're big chilling, right? They have the best position because they have the high ground. They have the northern edge of the circle. They can take shots onto DG Alliance and any team that are gonna come from the western side, because they are gonna be fighting amongst themselves. They are gonna be coming on to Alter Ego, a weakened team. So Alter Ego has such a good position. So the good positions in this map right now are for Alter Ego, Sem9 and Claw. Right. Okay, so let's take a look at how Alter Ego got into that position. Right. Load. Okay, so Alter Ego dropped Lipovka prison, and one guy was in shelter area as well. After that, so they took it slow, right? They tried to go over towards the Novo bridge, but the zone shifted, and after that they came in late, which is the logical thing to do. They did well there, and then they made a northern rotation. They basically waited out the teams. For them to finish fighting, and then they moved into the zone. Right. There you see Alter Ego there as well on the northern edge of the circle. And now, after the teams have fought already, okay, E-Arena left space for them, okay. E-Arena had control over this side, but they went towards the western side, picking fights with teams, and left this position. And that's where Alter Ego capitalized. Okay, what happened to Roy? I don't know. Roy had a good position, such a good position onto this compound. What happened to Roy? I have no idea. Roy and E-Arena left spaces for Alter Ego, and then they capitalized, right? They're gonna capitalize. There's no two ways about it. And there you go. From this position, E-Arena has fought so much now. E-Arena has taken so many fights right now, and they're a weakened side. Alter Ego has so much space on the northern side of the circle. They're gonna control this, and Sim 9 by the way ran out of ammunition, ran out of bullets. They were picking up pistols to fight with the rest of the teams. So because they were holding a central position for such a long amount of time, they ran out of ammunition, and that's why they couldn't capitalize even though having the circle for such a long time. And Claw right now have to push onto the circle, and it's open spaces, really have to say. It's a road onto the center of the circle, and there's no like dips that you can play. And Alter Ego just had this chicken handed to them. They waited, they bided their time, they found an empty space onto the northern side of the circle, and then they capitalized on that. So yeah, Alter Ego after that gets the chicken dinner, gets 10 eliminations, 20 points. Claw plays a very good game as well, takes 12 points from that game. And I it the push onto D Xavier was so good that I think it negates any sort of negative connotations that they had from the previous game, where they got the circle on the system of military zone and they got 0 points out of that game. Arena fought really well in this match and gets 12 points for their troubles. Celcom DJ Alliance came late, when crashed onto BTR and had a good game with 10 points. Sim 9 should have gotten more, considering they spent so much of the time onto the central portion of the circle, so they should have gotten more out of that. Vampires making a brilliant rotation, taking western side of the circle, they also should have gotten more out of that match. BTR, as we said, like got nothing out of that match, should have gotten more. Recency bias cost them. And Team Secret also, they should have gotten more out of that match as well. They were unlucky. The previous match that got this match that got rehosted, the previous time they had such a central control of the circle that they would be feeling very unlucky in this one, I feel like. Okay, after that let's take a look at number 5. Yeah, so Nuzi came in for Onzen, I think, for Vampires Esports. The casters were saying that Nuzi is a Miramar specialist, that's why Nuzi came in. But in my opinion, Nuzi should be playing all the matches. He is just such a big name, and I think your best 4 players should continuously play all the matches, especially by these grand final stages. Your playing for your starting four should be locked in. I really don't know how it works in the Southeast Asia region, but that's what I felt. Nuzi should have been playing all the matches, and he came in as a substitute in the 5th match. So this was a very big surprise for me. Okay, now let's take a look at the circle. This was the plain path. BTR had a very good early central position onto power grid, but then the circle shifted towards the west, so BTR still has a good position onto power grid. And any teams that are going to be moving from the east to the west, BTR should be gatekeeping these teams, right? And then the circle again does a ping pong shift, this time towards the eastern side. So BTR should have a very good position, power grid. And Team Secret in this match, let's take a look at how Team Secret rotated. Team Secret dropped Minas Generales, so it wasn't that difficult of a rotation. So they went into the power grid and took power grid, which BTR left, took the main compound of power grid. So this was a very good early acquisition from Team Secret, and BTR should have a good game from this as well, right? So the circle then shifted again towards, now it's going to be a central shift towards again. Arena again finds themselves towards the western side of the circle and have to fight a lot of teams that are going to be moving from the west to the east. And yeah, Team Secret again, it centers up. Okay, why have I closed off my notes? It again centers up towards the power grid area. And now Claw has the northern control of this zone, so this should have been a very big game for Claw. But as we can see, okay, see now I'm gonna 5.6. okay, I'm so thirsty. I'm gonna take a sip of water, guys. Okay. Okay, so Claw has northern control of the circle. Claw has northern control of the circle, so they should be very good, right? They should have a lot of access towards the team. They could gatekeep these western side teams that are gonna be pushing onto them, not onto them, but onto the circle from west to the east. So Claw has good control of the northern side of the circle, right? So this should be a good game from them. But as you can see in 5.7, that only Zaxi from Claw is left. So two players from Claw, they got picked off by solos. They got backstabbed by solos. It's unfortunate, but that's the risk that you run when you're playing split and trying to take control of the circle. And as we saw from the previous matches as well, Claw likes to take control of the circle. They like to take big chunks of the circle. So this is something that I applaud to Claw, but there are gonna be instances where you're gonna get backstabbed by solos. It's just part of the game, it happens. So this was a very disappointing end towards the end game for Claw. They should have had a big game in this match, and it just didn't happen. But from this picture, you can see that Team Secret, the place power grid, the main portion of the power grid that BTR left, Team Secret took control of that so early in the game, and it's looking so good for Team Secret right now. But after that, BTR did a blunder. I will show you guys. Bigatron blunder.
Done with the teams are still struggling to.
Okay. So now they have this compound, right? In the minimap, you can see that they have to move towards that side from west to east. And obviously, you want to clear out your teams. Obviously, you want to clear out your western side. You want to clear out your back. So that would be Talon in this case. But this push from BTR, two guys getting into a car and just driving towards Talon made absolutely zero sense to me. Absolutely zero sense to me. And they get absolutely destroyed, right? Federals and one more guy. They get absolutely destroyed. And this cost BTR the game, in my opinion. This should have been a very big game. Obviously, they left power grid, which wasn't a mistake because the zone centered up onto them for quite a while. So it wasn't that big of a mistake, in my opinion. But even from this position, right? Even from this position, you had the circle for such a long time. You should be doing more onto this match. And you should have information that vampires is here, so you should be taking care of vampires and not think about talent and pushing onto them in such a way. It was absolute blunder. It was an absolute throw from BTR, I really have to say. And after that, what happened? I think Team Secret got the chicken dinner, right? Yeah. Okay, let's wait for this image to load, guys. Yeah, so BTR got some points. They got 5 eliminations, but this should have been a chicken game for them. This should have been a chicken game for them, and I was disappointed by BTR's performance in this match. And because Team Secret had such good control, Team Secret has such good control of the circle. They made early rotations, had a central position, held on to it, and they just capitalized on that. And Team Secret, I think, which team? Yeah, no team actually challenged them for it, but Team Secret had such a good position. They got the chicken dinner, and after that, from this map, they got 20 points. So this made amends because of the rehost that they faced, and they were unlucky in the scenario. And yeah, Team Secret got some justice. Good karma came back to them, and vampires had a good match. Okay, let's look at vampires rotations, because I don't think so that I paid attention to vampires rotations. Okay, vampires drop Precado, so this should be a good game, right? Yeah, vampires drop Precado, so towards power grid was an easy rotation, you really have to say. But they were late. Okay, they were late onto that. But now they have some real estate over there towards the southwestern, well, eastern side of the circle. Yeah, they played from there. They took fights because they got what, like 8 eliminations, so that's 14 there. E Arena 10 eliminations, 0 position points. E Arena fought really well throughout the day. I was very impressed by Arena. I told you they found themselves at the western side of the circle, and so many teams are always in the western side of the circle. They're going from west to the east, pushing in. So Arena did a good job. Talon the same. They fought really well. BTR should have been a much better game. Definitely should have been more than a top 10, sorry, not top 10, more than a 10-point game for them. So this was a disappointing end for them. And yeah, Claw, such a disappointing game. They had such a good position, but two players got backstabbed by solos and only got like 2 points out of that match. So yeah, it was a disappointing match for Claw. After that, finally we got the last match. Yeah, so BTR drops Power Grid here, and we're gonna focus on BTR for a bit. BTR, if you look at this, it's not an easy rotation, but they should have gotten more out of this, right? They should have. Okay, so this was a hard shift for them. I will give them that. This was a hard shift for them. Yeah, but yeah, they got rolled on the western side of the map. Teams came in, they couldn't face up to the teams, got gate kept. And yeah, okay, Claw had a hard rotation in this match. I have my notes. So yeah, Claw drops Valad El Mars. So this sort of zones where it's shaping up towards El Hazar, it's gonna be a very hard rotation for them. And Vampires, okay, my notes say that, okay, Vampires, let's check Vampires rotations. Vampires drop down to Picardo. Yeah, it's not that hard of a rotation. They're always gonna find themselves on the southwestern edge of the map or the circle in these zones. So yeah, that's what happened. But oh, okay, so this is what I want to 6.6. Yeah, so this is what I want to bring your attention towards, guys. Vampires esports towards the southern side of the map. So now they have to push towards the zone. They are on the lower ground, so they want to take this position, right? They want to take this position. But if they take this position, Boom Esports is gonna fire onto them. So what they do? They crash onto Boom Esports. Now that's the fight that's gonna happen. But look at Voy and Donkey, right? Look at the position of Voy and Donkey. They're on the northern side of the map, but if they take this position, Arena and somehow maybe Alter Ego as well are gonna take shots onto them. So they make a decision that they are gonna play this portion of the map where there's ridges, hill areas, lower grounds. No team is gonna be able to take shots from them. So while Vampire Esports and Boom Esports is fighting it out, Voyan Donkey makes a rotation onto this side and third parties this. So this was a very fun fight to watch, and I just wanted to talk about it. Yeah. After that, though, Alter Ego just had the circle and they clean up, right? Alter Ego had the circle. Salcom DJ Alliance made a good rotation onto the northern side of the map, but Alter Ego had the compound support and nothing else could have been done. Rosemary again with the carry, Rose carry, as I said. Yeah, nothing much else that could have been done from this match. Alter Ego got the chicken dinner and got like 15 eliminations. Okay, let's check Alter Ego's rotations as well, because I didn't check Alter Ego's rotations. Yeah, the circle went on to them. They dropped towards the El Hazard truck stop area, north side of Minas Generales. So this was a very good game for them. Yeah, they dropped El Hazard. So this was their circle and they capitalized on that. Oh no, Celcom DJ Alliance actually got 15 kills. So Celcom DJ Alliance had a very good map on there, but Alter Ego got 20 points, 10 eliminations, the chicken dinner. Voyan Donkey had a good map, 10. Team Secret had a decent map. I didn't see Team Secret. Okay, Team Secret on the western side. What did Team Secret do? Oh yeah, Team Secret drop Minas Generales, so they are bound to have a good game there as well. They should have gotten more out of this as well. Western side of the map, Team Secret, BTR, both of these teams. I think the western side of the map is just cursed, because all of these teams that are gonna be rotating from the west to the east, you're gonna get in fights all the time, and sooner later than rather than later, you're not gonna survive, right? E Arena, this entire map, Vampire should have gotten more out of this, more than 5 points definitely. Let's take a look at E Arena, what E Arena did. E Arena again had to push in. E Arena should have had a better map. They dropped what, San Martin, right? But again, the influx of teams from west to the east, it's just so difficult to hold on to. But yeah, after that, Claw had a bad game, DX had a bad game, BTR had a bad game. Let's take a look. BTR should have had a bad, oh yeah, BTR had a bad game. I talked about it already. Oh yeah, Claw had a very difficult rotation. DX had to push in again from west to the east, so that's bound to happen. But daily MVP Rosemary, Alter Ego had good rotations, got some luck as well. Rosemary always delivers, and yeah, Rosemary was the daily MVP. And after that, on the leaderboard, it shows as well. Alter Ego sitting at the top. Claw, I think they would be still ruining the fact that they didn't capitalize on the third match, the very first Erangel, if I'm not no, not the first, I think the second Erangel, where the Sosnov community base, and they got 0 points out of that. So even though they had a good day, they're sitting on fourth. Xavier, even though they're sitting on third, I expected more from them. E Arena did very good. They took many fights, and they were consistent throughout the day, and they find themselves sitting at second position. Celcom DJ Alliance, another team that fought really well, they're on the sixth position. Vampires on 65th position, not very far from the second position, but I think Vampires expected more out of them. One thing that I wanted to say, that drops Primox and Kamishki and Stalwart Split, those are just horrible drops. I am not really familiar. I know about them, they're a very good team, but I'm not really familiar with where they drop. And even with the military circles and Ferry Pier circles, they should have extracted more from those matches, because they dropped remarks. But if you're dropping Kamishki and Stolver, you are just doomed. That's all I have to say. BTR would be very disappointed after the start that they had with only 41 points. And Team Secret 39 points. They would be feeling a bit unlucky. I think they would be closer towards the top 5 if that match hadn't been rehosted. FaZe, Sem9, Donkey, these teams are at the bottom of the table. Not much could be seen from them. Sem9 dropping Ferry Pier and getting the circles should have extracted more from them. I saw close to nothing from Donkey. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I've been talking for a long time, but yeah, I had a lot of fun watching Southeast Asia. And yeah, I'm trying to cover all the Super Leagues, and this was the grand final day 1 of Southeast Asia. If you have seen the entire video, which I doubt you have, but I wanted to talk about it, and I'm making this video in English because many people around, I want to reach a global audience. I want to reach any and everyone who watches PUBG Mobile, so that's why I'm trying to do it. If you are supporting, then thank you very much. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.